2020 has been a very interesting year. I mean, we all went through a very tough times, particularly the pandemic when it hit, and then subsequently as things started reviving and so on. So, my observation about, the overall business has been that customers are seeing a lot of promise as they move forward, and particularly India. So we are seeing a very sharp recovery in customer sentiments and the way customer is looking at, deploying technology to kind of, up their game as far as business growth is concerned. And I think we are very well aligned over there. So Veeam continues to be the leader in the cloud data management space. So we are the leading backup software player that helps in delivering cloud data management. And we are absolutely clear that we want to solve customer challenges when it comes to protecting their environment in the environment today, which is all about cloud. So worldwide we have already crossed 400,000 customers. Okay, which is a huge number of customers. 83% of Fortune 500 companies have deployed Veeam, are taking advantage of Veeam capabilities around cloud data management and backup. 69% of global 2000 customers are using Veeam. And, if we look at APJ as a region, it has been one of the fastest growing theaters for Veeam worldwide. In fact, we've been growing much faster than the market. APJ posted like 10x the growth of the market in 2019, second half as per the IDC software tracker for backup and recovery market. In the first half of 2020, okay, we grew at a very strong rate of 6.6%, over the previous year, which is again, considering the impact of the pandemic. I think, the solutions that we offer to our customers are in line with what the customer is expecting, particularly around data protection, recovery, protection against the ransomware, orchestration of workloads, compliance and reporting, monitoring and analytics, and so on. So in India, we've been adding hundreds of customers every year. So, we've seen a big growth in terms of the adoption of Veeam across all the verticals in India as well. So and that's largely because of the partner ecosystem that we have, or we've nurtured. So that we are 100% channel-oriented company. So we don't compete with the channel. Our channel actually takes our solutions to the customers. It goes about the implementation and support and so on. And then we have a global ecosystem of reseller partners, strong partners like Cisco, NetApp, Lenovo, and HPE, who carry Veeam in their price book. So they are our global reseller partners. We've got unprecedented coverage in the market, and we are able to reach out to a much larger customer base through our channel ecosystem. Coming to the second part of your question, which was around what is it that we have introduced in 2021. So, sticking to what we do very well, which is around backup and data protection, and particularly as we see adoption of hybrid cloud really accelerating, all over the world, including India. What we could sense is that customers are expecting us to protect, the new age workloads. So to give you an example, many customers came back to us saying that, Veeam, you've been protecting O365. So we have a solution called VBO, which is Veeam Backup for Microsoft Office 365. They said, can you help us protect Teams? Because, Microsoft has seen a huge jump in the adoption of Teams over the last, 12 months from, millions of users, across the world. And obviously, when business get conducted over a team, you need to protect that information. So it is not only the need of the business, it's also driven from the compliance standpoint that, all this information needs to be protected. And we have launched Veeam VBO version 5, which helps protect and recover, Teams data, Microsoft Teams. So we are securing this workload We had customers saying that, you've been protecting workloads on AWS, can you help us in protecting RDS on AWS? So we launched Veeam Backup for AWS version 3. So Veeam, continues to expand its, horizontally its abilities to protect environments for its customers, so that they can rely on one single platform to protect not only the workloads in the physical environment but cloud, as well as the hybrid cloud and workloads on Kubernetes.
Okay.
So yeah, a very rapid expansion horizontally of our portfolio is what we're trying to achieve in this year as well. Question, and in fact, I would like to bring you to the basic tenets or the pillars of the availability platform that we have built on, which is simple, flexible, reliable, and simplicity is one of the key I would say strategies that Veeam has used for developing its entire availability platform. What I mean by that is, like, let's say, we could be changing our cell phones every two years, so we never look at the manual, right? So we don't look at the user manual for when we change the phone. We just kind of get on with it. And if you kind of just draw that analogy to Veeam, it is so simple to use and deploy Veeam that we've seen like hundreds and thousands of customer downloads of Veeam software worldwide. Many customers actually choose to deploy Veeam on their own. But like I said, we are a 100% kind of partner-oriented company. Our partner ecosystem is so well trained. We have thousands of certified sales and pre-sales engineers across the country. Okay, or people, I would say, across the country who are helping the customers if they need to deploy Veeam solution. And typically a Veeam implementation in very complex environments also doesn't go into weeks. It just kind of takes a few days. And that's because of the way the entire availability platform is designed. It's a completely agentless solution. I can tell you that many enterprise customers today are struggling on ground operationally to upgrade from an X version of backup software to X+1. If they are on a traditional backup software or a legacy backup software. So that's because, first of all, the support for the new age workloads, which is kind of could be limited with the legacy softwares, and then the very process of upgrading is so complicated that customers then choose to be with the older version. Whereas think about it from Veeam standpoint, when we are driving a completely agentless, hardware agnostic approach, it becomes so easy. And particularly in the pandemic times, you've seen customers kind of just open the browser and manage the entire infrastructure for backup, whether it's on physical, virtual, or on cloud. So it is the simplicity, the interoperability of Veeam that has helped customers in these times to work remotely and run their business without any disruptions. Well, we used to listen to finite availability, and today customers talk about 100% availability. There's nothing like always on is what customers are require from us. That's what the business is expecting today from IT. Always on. So there is no scope for even the business to go down for a few minutes or seconds. So if you look at across industries, I think the SLAs are getting redrawn, particularly because businesses are expected to work in a multi-cloud or a hybrid cloud world. Okay, when you have workloads that could be running on, let's say, AWS, okay, how do you make sure that if a virtual machine goes down on AWS, how quickly can you recover or kind of switch over to another virtual machine on AWS? So and then we also look at the customer behavior, where customers today, moment the services are not available of a particular vendor, they are quick to switch over to another vendor, right? Yeah. So which means that businesses have to be extremely agile in that case. Okay. So as far as availability is concerned, on the recovery time front, we've been able to help our customers recover a virtual machine in just about a few minutes. Okay, that's the SLA that we are kind of helping our customers, which was unheard from the backup standpoint. So backup and replication software were not really used as a first resort to recovering, within few minutes. It was largely used earlier for protecting of data. Okay, not for uptime, but we must change that completely for its customers, and we help customers recover just a few minutes, whether it is a machine on-prem or it's a virtual machine or an instant, fired up in the cloud somewhere. That are the kinds of SLAs we are helping the customer with. When it comes to data loss or RTO, how much is the data that customers can afford to lose? And if you ask that to any customer, they're going to say no data loss. Obviously, so customers are looking at capabilities like continuous data protection, where you kind of deliver on RPO that is just about a few seconds for their business. Your customers are expecting that in a cloud world, when there could be a risk of ransomware attack, you still need your data to be absolutely 100% available. So Veeam is helping its customers to protect or make their data absolutely ransomware proof. Okay, so what we help them is push the backup data to an S3 compliant object storage, or just with a click of button you can actually make your backup data 100% ransomware proof, even if you have to put it on any commodity storage for that matter. So these are the capabilities we are helping our customers with to kind of have 100% uptime or be always on in their business, and to move towards zero data loss. We have the partners across the SAARC region who roll up or do their transact with Veeam through distributors. Okay, that is for the traditional partners who kind of resell the solution to our customers. Then we have the cloud service provider partners who transact with Veeam through an aggregator like Creon, for example, is an aggregator that we have in the country. One of the key philosophies why Veeam is, such a partner-friendly company, and why partners like Veeam so much, is because, we protect our partners. Okay, we do not cannibalize on their revenues. We do not compete with them, unlike many other backup vendors in the marketplace who have their own professional services, or who could even have their backup service or being offered through different channels. Whereas in case of Veeam, we kind of leverage our partners to take the solutions to the market, to implement the solution, and then whenever they need any help or hand holding at the back end, we are there to enable them, to support them. Okay, so that's the way kind of we look at our partners. Out of all the revenues that we do worldwide, we crossed $1 billion in revenues. We have no revenue coming in from anything but the product and the maintenance. So no professional services revenues, and that's the philosophy that we carry for India as well. Our partners go ahead and implement the solutions for our customers, and that's how the relationship is very strong, and I think the partner community trusts the way Veeam works in the market. So it's based on trust, collaboration, hand holding, supporting each other in the tough times. I can tell you that particularly in the pandemic times, a lot of our partners kind of worked with the customers and needed a lot of help from us in terms of hand holding them to proof of concepts. They wanted enablement on particularly when customers were looking at cloud adoption in a big way, and many partners felt that they are kind of short in terms of the skills to help the customers in that journey. We helped our partners to kind of ramp up their skills and help their customers in turn. So that's been our philosophy all along, and we continue with that. As far as cloud service providers are concerned, we have very exciting partner program, which is called as Veeam, Cloud Service Provider Partner Program. We launched partner perks for our traditional partners across the country at the beginning of the year, 2020 particularly, and we continue to build on that. That keeps the partners engaged, enabled. The incentives are quite exciting for them to kind of make their business more profitable while helping their customers. So a lot of exciting and partner-friendly initiatives that we take right through the year that kind of keep the partners engaged with us as well as with our customers. There was nothing to kind of particularly as far as helping in the direct cash flow is concerned, but we have come across requests where we help support on specific requests. If partner would come to us with a request that so and so customer is looking at an extended, let's say, service term, okay, or support term for a particular contract, then we have always considered those service requests or requirements of the customers and partners. But I think the distributors that we have played a key role in terms of ensuring that the partners do well as far as their business is concerned in these tough times. But then let's look at the model that we have, Rajneesh, which is kind of very well aligned to the current market. Okay, and what I mean by that is we offer, or Veeam software is consumed based on subscription. Okay. And this is a very Veeam universal license, as we call it. It's a very transformative, again, approach of consuming software license, and we are one of the pioneers to bring it into the data protection and availability market. So that really kind of eases the pressure on the customer as well as the partner, to invest upfront on CapEx. Okay, so customers today have the flexibility of consuming Veeam license by an instance. There are service providers that offer Veeam backup as a service on Veeam, as a rental. So customer pays just a monthly rent. And I think the partners have taken advantage of this to kind of, get over this pandemic situation, where particularly if customers was facing some cash flow issues, and would like to consume the software differently than the traditional CapEx model, the partners would then work with the cloud service provider, Veeam certified cloud service provider, and offer services on a pay-as-you-grow, on a subscription, on an instance, or on a rental basis for its customers. So I think the software consumption model was quite effective to deal in the crisis situation for many of our customers and partners. Well, one thing that we learned in the last 12 months is how important it is to be close to your customers. I mean, it's the single most important thing that we could take away from there. And I think everyone in the Veeam system, including our partners and alliances, kind of continue to be close to our customers. We could help customers in different ways. I mean, for certain customers, we help them cut down their cost by our existing customers I'm talking about. We could do an assessment for them and help them understand what are their potential risks in the business. We could help them understand, if there were workloads that could be effectively moved to cloud for the business to be more agile and to bring down the cost. We could help customers, also understand ways and means on kind of, leveraging the cloud model so that they could increase the revenue. So there is a very large customer of ours who faced a very severe ransomware attack. Okay, and it was actually running the risk of losing very critical data that was important for compliance. Now, we along with our partners spend at least a few nights no stopping there to make sure that we are able to recover that data for the customer. So we spend a lot of time in educating the customer how the ransomware attacks are increasing and what are the steps they could take to to protect their environment against such risks. That was on the, but our eyes were never off the ball of acquiring net new customers. So with the large ecosystem of channel partners, we ran campaigns across the country in different states. We work with partners like you, Rajneesh, in events, helping customers kind of, get the message of what Veeam is doing on cloud data management and so on. We reached out to new set of user requirements, like O365 backup, which was not there earlier, and then, migration workloads. We partnered with new cloud service providers to take services like endpoint backup to the marketplace. So our net new customer acquisition engine kind of, is unabated. Like, it's as strong as ever. Like I said, we are adding hundreds of net new customers every year in India and SAARC alone. So kind of adding to that 400,000 number that we have worldwide. I think India and SAARC, as a market offers that potential, and we can really contribute in terms of the net new customer base for Veeam worldwide. See, I think the partners, the traditional partners, if you want to call them that, I think they understand and appreciate that the cheese has really moved, and they need to quickly adapt rather to the changing ways of customers consuming technology, particularly the acceleration of cloud. So, one change that has happened is, while new cloud service provider partners have emerged, the rest, I would say many of them, the larger ones, recognize that they need to have a specialist cloud team. And I think, that kind of helped our agenda, because we could work with this team within the traditional partner that understands and appreciates the cloud business and way, what kind of conversations customers want to have, because, well, you can't have generally, the same bunch of people driving traditional business to have cloud conversation. That has been one of the key challenges that these partners face. So we worked along with this new, cloud division that our partners have formed. We helped them understand the challenges around cloud data management and the changing expectations of customers from backup and data protection. So that happened through a regular, enablement and training and certification programs. So we are like hundreds of certified, Veeam certified technical as well as sales professionals across the country. And we set a target that, okay, by in the next 6 months, we're going to kind of, really help. And then, so we worked along with the distributors, our pre-sales engineers and the sales engineers got together, and we kind of, helped skill the partners there, so they could get into the cloud conversation with their customers, which was not really comfortable for them. But, I think if you look at, any IT requirement today, okay, it cannot happen without cloud conversation.
True.
So cloud first is the strategy for every large and small customer, and I think partners do recognize that. They have been changing, and we've been kind of helping them change and move in that direction. We observed that there are pockets in this region which are very kind of, SMB heavy. So, for example, if you look at the Gujarat market, okay, it will have manufacturing and healthcare and good bunch of government and government business. So, if you look at Surat, there are so many, diamond merchants out there. So business may not be all that good, but then at some point in time, the business could recover and they could start spending. So, we established our presence either directly or through a distributor or partner in these regions across the country. Okay, which are very SMB kind of heavy. If you look at the metros, we anyway have our presence, in Delhi, Mumbai and Bangalore, and we are able to address the larger customer base of commercial as well as the enterprise customers. But then, we work with some value added, we could call them value added large resellers in markets of Tamil Nadu and Kerala, who could actually reach out to their partner ecosystem, and then these partners again could reach out to a larger customer base. So that's how we kind of address the SMB space. We had certain partner perks and incentives for partner sales guys for net new customer acquisitions in certain deal, with certain deal bands, I would say. So SMB generally tend to consume between 1K to $10,000. I mean, if that's the deal band that customers, anyone wants to look at, then we kind of help the customers in the SMB space kind of work along with our partners and incentivize the partners to kind of do that business for us. Inside partners acquired 100% of Veeam equity, and if you look at how fast we have expanded on the portfolio over the last last few quarters, I think it's been a huge accelerated investment and growth in terms of our offerings. This year we have announced, like I said, VBO version 5, which is protecting teams data, enhancing our capabilities around protecting O365. Then we released Veeam backup for AWS version 3, which is also helping the AWS customers protect RDS and other data on the AWS workloads, and kind of take data protection to a completely different level as far as AWS environment is concerned. So we will have such interesting announcements in this year. There's still like 11 long months in front of us, almost the entire year, and I'm very excited about the possibilities and the vision that Veeam has in terms of its growth, as well as expanding the portfolio is concerned. So you will see a lot of interesting announcements from Veeam as we move forward. The most important, I would say, priority for the customers today is going to be increasing revenues, keeping the risk, operational risk, at bay, reducing the risk in their business, ensuring that their costs are in control. And I think every dimension of their IT and business has to kind of has to be looked at from these three standpoints. So it is important that when customers look at the next decade of growth for them, they take into account what could be very strategic for them, because the foundations for their business are going to be laid today as far as IT, data protection, recovery, and availability is concerned. Whatever legacy that customers carried from the previous decade to now is not going to help them in the next decade. And this is a time when you really look forward to the next decade and build your availability strategy, because the requirements of business, the market, and your customer is going to change. So I think there is a bit of unlearning that needs to happen. Some courageous decisions need to happen, even if you got to throw some of the hardware out of the door for many of the customers who could have invested and see some book value still in their books. But it's time to make some of those bold decisions. And for the partners, I think it is important for the partners to understand the way customers are looking at consuming technology. Okay, kind of learn more around how cloud can help businesses be more agile. How cloud can help business on cutting down the cost, help in customer experience, and then also be aware on what are the potential risks of moving business in or running business in a multi-cloud, in a hybrid cloud world. So help customers kind of mitigate those risks. And it's going to be a whole lot of learning and unlearning of some of the old things that the partners could have been kind of doing, or the legacy they're carrying with them. So I would say kind of be close to the customers and help the customers meet the challenges of of the current times.
Okay.